So if you watched last week's vlog, you'll know, last week's vlog, have a look, it's up there. You'll know that I'm switching emphasis from landscape photography more towards street photography. And not one of the reasons, but one of the things that sort of encouraged me to do it was the fact that every time I'd been and done street photography, I'd had sort of unqualified success really. I'd got keepers from it, I'd got fantastic images, I'd had a good time, and and it was just brilliant. This time, last time I went, which was Wednesday, I didn't have quite such a good time. I'll be honest with you, I hated every single image I took. There's one that's okay, but the rest of them I absolutely hated. Now, this is not a bad thing, so let's just get that out of the way. I'll explain why later, but I tell you what, why don't you watch the vlog now, and then I'll come back to you and explain exactly what went wrong. Welcome back to London. As per usual, it's raining and miserable, but I've come prepared today with my coat, so that's quite good. Some days I find it absolutely no problem talking in front of a big group of people. Vlogging, have no issues. Today, not one of those days. Feeling super awkward. There's a lot of people around, but nevertheless, we'll carry on. So today I am back in London to do sort of street photography, but it's sort of street photography with a difference. What I'm doing is I'm come out with my wide angle lens, my 17 to 40, and my aim is basically to capture some architecture and get really wide and try and get some interesting angles on it. First place I'm heading off to is a place called Leadenhall Market, and I'll see you there. So Leadenhall Market, as interesting as it was quite busy, and there were a few little tables and bits and pieces out and about, which kind of made this shot I wanted to get quite tricky. But as per usual with me, I was far more drawn toward the lovely little alleyways and little dark corners around here. There's loads, and trying to capture people walking through those and get the light on them as they came through, that was much more interesting for me. So as per usual, I come out, I have one modus operandi and completely changed to another one within 5 minutes. So that's the way. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I'm going to keep wandering around, see what I can find around here, and then head on to the next place. So this is King's Cross, architecture, roofs, amazing, ceilings, not feeling it at all. Been in there, There's a nice modern roof there that's all lit up purple, but a bit too busy, a bit too much going on for me. Took a shot or two, might come out, might not, who knows. There's another, the old part of King's Cross with a domed ceiling. Took a shot of that or two, probably no good. Not really feeling it, if I'm honest with you. Probably struggling a bit with the fact that I only bought the 17-40. I've actually bought the 50mm, but nothing longer. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to have some to eat. I'm going to head over to Piccadilly, where I'm meeting one of my subscribers, a guy called Ian. So I'm going to go and see him now. We'll have a chat, and I'll try and come back refreshed later on today. So I met Ian Livermore. I'll put a link to his Instagram and Flickr down below. What a lovely guy, honestly, really pleasure to meet him. Really good to meet you, mate. If you're watching, I'm sure you are. We've had a couple of drinks. We had a couple of drinks in Piccadilly, and then we headed off and he took me around Trafalgar Square, down to then 10 Downing Street to Cenotaph and past the House of Parliament. It's got a few images, but I've got to say, I'm sorry, mate. I'm terrible with taking images when there's anyone around, so I do apologise. Usual fare, not very good. But if there are any half decent, then I'll pop them up. But yeah, what a nice guy, and yeah, I had a really nice time. And now what I've got to do is work out what I'm going to do next to continue this vlog. So I was looking at wide angle stuff. I've got the 50mm on at the moment for a few of these shots, but I think I'll go back to wide angle. I need to find somewhere to have something to eat and then get my mojo back, and then I should be looking around for some more wide angle London. I found my niche in street photography, I've got to say, and that niche is archways and alleys. Look a bit odd, sort of wandering around down and lurking, but just like the light that falls under archways, the light that falls down alleys and in tunnels. It's always really fascinating and interesting, and you've always got a natural frame for your image. So just found a brilliant one here. I can't remember what the place is called now, but it's just off Charing Cross Station. And it's a little arcade, a little shopping arcade, and the light's just lovely, and it's all brickwork. It's looked like some sort of old railway arch, and there's all buildings and shops inside it that have been built into the arch. Fascinating, and I managed to get some really nice shots. Unfortunately, only wide angle up to 40mm because that's all I've got with me, but yeah, I think I've got some nice shots there. Definitely one worth coming back to when I've got my 24-70 on. So there it was. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got something out of it. But I don't know if you spotted my issues with the images, but we'll run through them now. I'm going to pull them up on the screen in a bit and run through them in a little bit more detail. But basically, the long and short of it is that they're just all shot at such high ISOs that they're incredibly grainy. I made several mistakes. I think the first mistake I made is the style of photography that I ended up going for wasn't complemented at all by the lens that I used. So I had a 17-40 f4 on. Firstly, it didn't cope very well with the low light. Secondly, which I think is a combined issue with this, because I can only get out to 40mm and I'm shooting on a full frame camera, when you're taking street images and you're trying to get subjects involved, when you're shooting at those focal lengths, unless they're literally on top of you, they're quite small in the image. So to bring them out of the image, to get them fuller in, you've got to crop. And when you crop and you've shot at a really high ISO, you're going to get incredibly noisy images and you're going to lose loads of detail. So what could I have done? Well, there's not a lot I could do about the focal length, admittedly, but what I should have done, I think, was instead of sticking it on aperture priority or shutter priority and allowing the ISO to sort itself out, what I should have done really was gone manual, not worried too much about losing some of the shadows and concentrated on keeping the highlights and keeping the ISO down, so the shots I did get were cleaner and I could have cropped in and got more detail. As it happens, I didn't get very much detail at all. Anyway, let's jump in and have a look. So here we are in Lightroom, and I just want to run through these really quickly just to say the issues that I feel that they have. I'm going to start off with this one, which is Leadenhall Market. Now the problem with this one, in my opinion, is firstly, it's in portrait mode. I really would have preferred to have shot it in landscape. Portrait, there's loads more interest on the outer sides as well, not just this central column. Trouble was, there were so many people there and there were tables and chairs, and it was the wrong time of day for me to go really to get the shot that I wanted. Secondly, perspective's not quite right on it, because if you look on the left hand side to the right hand side, it's going off at a much deeper angle on the right hand side than it is on the left hand side. Also down here in this bottom right third, this is just basically a mirrored cloning in of this bit here, simply because there was just too much going on down here and I had to do something to balance out the image. I probably wouldn't have even used any of the shots I took from Leadenhall Market if I hadn't spent so much time there and vlogged it. So that for me was not great. Now this image here, this would be my absolute favourite of the images I think that I took if it wasn't so grainy and such high ISO that it's killed all the detail. If you look in here on his face, it's just horrible. It's really, really horrible. And this because it was shot at 8000 ISO. I'm not sure whether it's because I was using my wide angle lens or whether it was because I'm not sure what it was, but I didn't take enough control of the camera basically. I let it go wild and do its own thing. And it resulted in images like this. Now, I know it was very dark, so that is why the ISO is high, but I probably could have done a lot better if I'd have lost some of the detail in these shadow areas around here, just to get this bit here correctly exposed. It would have made for such a good image. And also because it's shot at 40mm, I've had to crop in considerably. If you imagine the original image goes out to sort of here and here, so he's pulled right up, and because it's grainy and because it's a crop, just lost the detail there. So it's a shame, but there you go. This image is shot at ISO 4000, but it's so noisy. I think it's partly the processing that's been carried out on it by myself, but partly the fact that, again, I've had to heavily crop it in to get what I want, the detail that I wanted. And it's just, oh my God, look at it. It's just shocking. It's so noisy. It just doesn't look good at all. I think if I'd have shot this same image at 70mm and got that entire image in the frame, it would be such a better shot. I'm just going to look at this one. This is my favourite shot. This is the only shot I took that I actually think, yeah, no, this one's okay. It is still noisy. It was shot at 4000 ISO, but it's just the black and white works, the shadows work. It can be a noisy image, this one, I think, because it's only the two tones, and it's it's not so noisy that you're losing any of the detail in here. So that's my favourite shot. But overall, yeah, just such a shame that the images just didn't really work out the way I wanted to, but such is life. So I hope that's given you a bit of an insight into the issues that I had. But let's be fair, it wasn't a wasted journey. Because I met Ian, who's one of my subscribers, and had a great chat with him, couple of drinks, a brilliant wander around London. He showed me, I couldn't believe how close places were to each other. Actually, I'm a bit of a, even though I've been to London a few times, I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to actually knowing where the landmarks are. But B, I've learned from my mistakes, or hope to learn from my mistakes. I won't be doing those things again. And we all have those days. Surely we all have those days where we go out and it just doesn't quite work out for us for one reason or another, user error or equipment or whatever. I think mine was a bit of both. And to say that, when you watch these vlogs, I think sometimes people give a false impression that every time you go out you have to get fantastic results, and that's not the case. That's not the case. Even the best photographers out there, they will throw away an awful lot of their images, and I'll bet you any money they have days like I had, probably not so much through user error but through other things where things just don't turn out and they don't get the shot they want, so they have to make do with a shot or two. So as long as you learn from those, then I guess that's the important thing. So anyway, that's me finished waffling on. I hope this hasn't been an unduly long vlog. I get the feeling it could turn into one, as it is with me waffling on now to make it worse. Anyway, sorry. Right, so look, hope you enjoyed it. What's coming up? Got a really interesting vlog coming up next week, hopefully, providing that it comes out, where I'm going to London to visit the People's Vote Pro Europe March, and I'm going to try and do some sort of photojournalism type thing. And then I'm in Elland on Tuesday for Thomas Heaton, and I hope to get a vlog done Tuesday afternoon or morning, and then I'm staying over, so hopefully I'll get some sort of sunrisey landscape shot for Wednesday, which will be coming up. So yeah, there's a few things going on which hopefully should be really good. I've got my podcast, which is now out, part 1 of the podcast, which Gareth from 1/60th of a second photography podcasts has released, where we discuss street images. That is in the link below, so I'd love for you to go and have a look at that. Well, you can't look at it, it's podcast, listen to that, and that's about it, I think. So I want to say thanks very much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.